Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. Wagwan Mayu, it's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically get into all the latest celebrity news, gossip, and headlines, all the things that's trending on social media and in the world of celebrity entertainment. So, for those of you who are just coming on into this fellow live stream, do yourselves a favor and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button so that way you will know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. So, we have a couple of topics that we're going to be getting into today. We have a new Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler are getting back together. They're working on a secret vampire or undead type of movie. We're going to talk about that. Plus, Justin Timberlake is reportedly considering doing a tell-all with Oprah Winfrey. We'll see if I think if that's a good idea, or I would like to ask your consensus if you guys think that's a good idea that they're going to be doing a tell-all that he's going to sit in and do a tell-all with her. Plus, speaking of which, Britney Spears is revealing that she made out with Jennifer Lopez's husband. We're going to talk about that. Plus, Taylor Swift's PR team, there's a story that came out that they scrambled to get that Celine Dion photo backstage because, everybody went and immediately turned on her when she kind of just and what people felt gave a cold reception when she got the Album of the Year Grammy. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Kelly Rowland is weighing in on Jay-Z's Grammy speech. About Beyonce getting the Album of the Year snub. We're going to talk about that. Plus, we're going to talk about that Monique and Club Shay Shay interview. It was damn near 3 hours. She spilled a lot of tea. And so we're going to get into that. Plus, I saw T.S. Madison responded because she was mentioned in the interview, and there was stuff that Monique mentioned about T.S. that I already knew about, but we're going to talk about that. Plus, I saw D.L. Hughley in that dry-ass beard of his, got on social media, was trying to drag Monique, but it's funny how you had a whole lot of smoke for Monique, but you ain't had shit to say when my fellow Virgo twin, because he and I born on the same damn day, but we not the same age, though. He older than me. Cat Williams got up in that black ass, but all of a sudden you had a lot of smoke for Moni. It's funny how these men always got smoke for women, but y'all ain't got shit to say when these ninjas be coming after y'all ass and spilling all the tea. Plus, we got some stuff on Selena's father. He has responded to the upcoming documentary or docuseries that's coming out where Yolanda is apparently trying to speak from the prison because I guess this is her way of trying to get that parole that she's up for next year. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we lost a trans activist. So one of the cast members of Pose passed away. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. And I guess, sometimes we go off topic, like a lot of times in conversations with those of you that do come in and watch the show, a lot of times y'all will bring stuff up and we'll go off topic. So that's usually the typical on the show. But yeah, but for the most part, that's what's on the docket. But hold on, let me put my banner up in the situation. And yeah, so like I said it before, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification button so that way you'll know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And thank you for some of you that I see because apparently a lot of people can't see on the other side, but when you produce the show, you see everything. I can see y'all watching. And thank you for tuning in. And if you have anything that you want to post or bring up in regards of like any other topics, feel free to do so because this is an interactive talk show. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into these topics. So, excuse me, there was a story that came out, I think it was like a week or two ago. I didn't really talk about it because there wasn't a lot of information that was going on around about it. But now that I got a little more information, we can speak on it. So, apparently, there was a mystery movie that Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler are working on, and now it has finally found a home at Warner Brothers. So, shout out to Fangoria for this story. So it says, for the past month or so, various Hollywood studios have been competing for a brand new, highly secretive project from director Ryan Coogler and his frequent leading man, Michael B. Jordan. Originally rumored to be a vampire movie and possibly a period piece, the project has finally found a home with Warner Brothers, and today we're learning a bit more about what it might entail. So now, according to the Hollywood Reporter, they're saying that details are being kept hush-hush, but according to sources, the project has been described as a period thriller. Some have said it takes place in the Jim Crow era South involving the undead. Now, some sources said that it contains anime influences, which we all know if you ever have listened or watched many an interview with Michael B. Jordan, he has mentioned that he is a massive anime fan. I even think he said that he used anime influences for Creed 3, which, of course, if y'all didn't know, he's about to direct Creed 4. I don't know when they're going to go start shooting that and stuff, but he has said that he has used anime influences even when he was directing Creed 3. So it says that the first thing worth noting here says THR's report does not contain the word vampire and that the description instead goes with the term the undead. Now, from where we're standing, that could mean zombies just as easily as it could mean vampires, but because it is the earliest reports, the rumors regarding this project focused on the latter, we're going to go ahead and assume that that is the case until proven otherwise. Now, it also, the report from THR goes on to say that Coogler and Rhinestone, which is yet to receive an official title, is rumored to begin filming in April in New Orleans. If that's the case, we should probably expect to hear more about Coogler's latest, which he also scripted, from a more specific log line to casting news and all that good stuff. And here's the thing, y'all know me, y'all know I love vampires. You know, I like anything that got to do with demons, vampires, werewolves. Like that's my jam. And I like all that stuff. So now one of the things was, didn't they come out with a movie called Abraham Lincoln with the when he was like a vampire hunter? I remember it was a book on it. The movie wasn't all that great, but I did like the concept. So I kind of like that whole thing. Now, the idea of like a antebellum South, here's the thing. Y'all know I get sick and tired of when stuff got to be rooted in Jim Crow, slavery, all the other stuff. But if you're going to take something from that period and you're going to make it interesting when you have a black man who's probably a vampire hunter or maybe a zombie killer, who knows what it is, because they did say undead, where they have that playing into that world where it's like slavery and it kind of has more of that I don't know if y'all seen that show that's on Paramount Plus, Lawman Bass Reeves. Like if it got something like in that vibe, now that I would be here for because I love seeing like, okay, so now if something does take place in the antebellum South or Jim Crow and all that other stuff, that if it kind of plays into this word of like you see a black man in a position of power or somebody who's killing demons, vampires, all that other stuff. I even said one time I came up with a story. I was like if they ever came up and did, maybe they should do something like Harriet Tubman Vampire Slayer. You know, I be coming up with weird stuff. I was like, that would be a cool idea. We got Harriet Tubman with the Underground Railroad, and she got a secret society where she's taking out the damn the white masses and stuff, or the slave owners. Turn out they demons, vampires, whatever. Like that, I feel like would have been a cool concept. I would like to see something like that. Maybe we can get Janelle Monáe to play Harriet Tubman or something like that. I don't know. Now they're gonna steal my idea. But you know, crazier things have been made. But yeah, that was kind of one of the ideas to me. So I actually like this idea that because you know, anytime that Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan get together, they always end up creating magic, in my opinion, whenever you know these guys do a movie. Now I'm wondering, okay, what's going on with Black Panther, the third, you know, what's going on with Black Panther 3? Like, are we gonna be getting that? Like, I need Disney, Marvel, MCU, whatever you want to call them, okay, where when we get another Black Panther movie, I understand maybe they probably want to put a couple of years in between, so that way we could have young T'Challa grow up to become the new Black Panther. Which, in my opinion, I know this is unpopular, or maybe a lot of people didn't like it, but in my opinion, I always felt they should just recast the role. I understand, you know, I liked the actor that played Black Panther, and I understand, you know, he passed away. It was untimely. It was sad. He had cancer, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, sadly to say, the show must go on. And while I liked some elements of what they did with Black Panther 2, it felt disjointed in a lot of ways. And it just felt weird not having a sequel where we got a Black Panther, like a proper Black Panther movie. But I understood the, you know, what they were up against and all this stuff. But I just felt like it could have just, you know, I don't know. It's just hard, I guess, when you get in those type of situations. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie. I hope it's like a really cool concept. I hope that they execute it well. I trust in Ryan Coogler. He's a really good director and a writer, and his body of work speaks for itself. Excuse me. It's like I'm still sick. And I remember Robert was telling me that I wasn't the only one that got sick from that damn Madonna concert. I gagged when I said something was going around. He said Matthew got COVID, but I took a COVID test and apparently it came back negative. But who knows? Maybe I did have COVID because sometimes, you know, those antigen tests do produce a false positive. And when I used to work where I used to test people for COVID, I should have went and got my damn ass a PCR, but I'm still coming out of it. But anyway, so I say all this to say, with this movie, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Now, what I am curious about is what's going on with I Am Legend 2, because once upon a time, not that long ago, there was word that Michael B. Jordan was going to be in the sequel to I Am Legend, and that Will Smith was supposed to be in it. I hope they haven't put it on the back burner because of the slap and all that other stuff. So I'm hoping that, my personal opinion, I moved on from it. I think Chris Rock has moved on from it. I think the rest of the world needs to move on from it and let these people get back to work and do what they need to do. Because I liked I Am Legend. The only thing I hated about that I Am Legend movie was the damn CGI vampires. Them shits look so damn fake. So I really hope that they actually incorporate some special makeup effects, more practical stuff. That if you're gonna have those type of vampires like y'all did in that previous film, that you actually use real people like dancers, stunt people, people who actually could move around like them. Because and then multiply it with the CGI, which is a thing that they did in The Last of Us. They used that trick in there too. They actually cast like vampire, like what are they? Well, I guess they are kind of vampire-ish or something or another, or zombie, whatever you want to call it. But they had them like dancers in there. They were movement, like they had like did movement training and all that other stuff. And they had some of them in made up in the costumes and the makeup and all that. And then to make it seem like it was a massive amount of people, they added more in them, give the illusion that it was a lot more that was actually there. So I'm like, if y'all do that, then that's cool. But yeah, for the most part, when are we getting this I Am Legend 2 movie? Like, I need to know what the update on that is. So hopefully we'll find out sooner rather than later, because I actually like I Am Legend. It wasn't the greatest movie, but it's something that I could sit in every time it comes on, I can sit and watch it and I enjoy it. So but besides the CGI, you know, creatures, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie and Will's performance in that film. So we definitely need a sequel. I know some people gonna be like, "But how they gonna make a sequel? He died." And I'm like, they're gonna use the other ending that they didn't use. They're gonna use the alternate ending, the one that was cut from the film. But if you have the DVD, they actually have that other scene where he actually lives in it. The theatrical version they chose when he died. He sacrificed himself, but then he gave the cure to Alicia Braga and the little boy that she was traveling with. So there's that. Okay, so let's get to the questions. Oprah went to JT obviously because she mad that Britney didn't want to. Well, we're gonna get not the COVID. um, yeah, I seen Caitlyn's discrimination. Girl, get off my line. First of all, you're not even for your own damn people. You run around here like you transgender, but you go against your very people. And I hate when people say, "Well, you don't have the right to dead name her," and stuff because I've been reading the comments and people out here calling Miss Caitlyn Bruce, and then, well, regardless of what you feel, that you shouldn't have a dead. Y'all don't get the same motherfucking grace when you gonna sit up in here and throw shade at your own people because you got some personal agenda. If you're gonna be the Candace Owens of the trans community, you don't get to sit with us. You don't get the same privileges and the respect that you won't give to your fellow person. So put that name the bitch. And if you get mad, that's on you. Like, no, get off my line with that. So it's funny because y'all be so quick to defend the people that wouldn't defend your ass in a situation or wouldn't piss on your ass if you was on fire. So I never understand that. And then Gina Carano trying to sue Disney, girl, you gonna lose. And my thing is also is that is she sleeping with Elon Musk? Because I mean, that's a whole. First of all, Gina Carano give me masculine woman tease. She can be man with titties, but I guess because she a little butch, but for the most part, I actually like Gina Carano until she started coming out saying some real problematic shit, and I did like her when she was a part of the Mandalorian. She ain't a good actress though, but I did like when she was a part of the Mandalorian, but she ain't got no rat chance in hell to win this case. First of all, Disney is a huge juggernaut, and Elon out here trolling. So get off my line with this foolishness. Hi, how you doing? And it said, yeah, it was Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. And it said Chris said what he had to say in his last special. Wait, which Chris? Who we talking about? Wait, I'm lost with this one. Please elaborate. I think Justin would just try to make Britney sound crazier than people. Well, we're about to get into that topic because that's actually our next topic that we're about to get into. So, oh, you said, oh yeah. That was like Chris Rock. Thank you, because I totally forgot about that. It's like, yeah, at the end of the day, Chris Rock said what he said in his special, even though, in my opinion, That special just wasn't it. I knew, like, what was it? Was it the Emmy Awards or was it the Golden Globes or something or another where he was nominated for an award and was it Louis C.K. I think beat him or whatever the case was? Oh no, it wasn't. No, who was it? No, it wasn't Louis C.K. The one that always hosted the Golden Globes, the male comedian, the one that everybody likes, that be throwing the shade. I don't know why I can't remember his damn name. And it was just in my head. But anyway, white dude, British. Anyway, he beat him in that. And I was like, you know what? I totally get it. First of all, Chris Rock's comedy special, the one that was on Netflix, I didn't think it was all that funny. It had moments, but when I was watching it, I think probably because we was all there to just watch what he had to say or hear what he had to say about um the whole Will Smith Jada situation. Yes, you are correct. Ricky Gervais, thank you. Because he was, I think he beat him. He actually won the award. I think it was the Golden Globe for his special. And me, I actually like Ricky Gervais because Ricky gives no fucks. He says what needs to be said, and he's like, damn, if you, I don't care if you like it or not. And he's able to get away with that, I guess, because he's a white male. Now, Monique, on the other hand, we're gonna get into that later on in the show. When it's like when certain people can come out and say certain things, and some people come out and say things that get blackballed. So yeah, Chris Rock said what he said in that damn interview. I mean, in his comedy special, and I feel like after that, like let's move on. He said what he said. Will Smith said what he said. Jada said what she said 5,000 damn times in that fucking book, or whenever somebody decided to interview her and answer the question. So now that everybody done got it out their system, I feel like let's move on as a people to bigger and more important things. And I want I Am Legend too. And Bad Boys 4. I like Will Smith, so I'm ready to see him back on the screen. He smacked the shit out of somebody. Okay, let's move on. Ain't like he murdered someone. Look, um, quiet as it's kept, didn't Tim Allen kill somebody? He got a whole career, but that was before he was famous. Anyway, so let's get into this mess. So the word on the curb is that Justin Timberlake is considering a tell-all interview with Oprah amid renewed drama with his ex Britney Spears, according to a new report. Now, Justin is really not happy with how things have gone down. This is what a source told The Sun via the Daily Mail. He wanted his new music to speak for itself, but that's clearly not happening. Now, last week, the former NSYNC member, who's 43, found himself in hot water when he seemingly dissed Britney Spears, who's 42, during a concert promoting his forthcoming album. His comments on stage have only added fuel to the fire, that insider added. The idea of a sit-down chat with someone like Oprah Winfrey was floated months ago and now back on the cards. A rep for Timberlake did not respond to Page Six's request for comment. There's a lot of people talking to a lot of people. I'm like, Page Six, we got Daily Mail, and we got the Sun. I'm like, well, damn. But anyway, so it said, I like to take this. Oh, and remember, the other day he was at Irving Plaza. Was it last week, I believe? He was at Irving Plaza where nobody asked him to come out his mouth and say, I like to take this opportunity to apologize to absolutely effing nobody. It was like after Britney went and said what she said and tried to take the higher road and came out, was like, you know what? I'm going to apologize because I feel bad that my fans continuously will troll Justin Timberlake because all he's trying to do is promote his music. He got to go on SNL. He got to hang out with his butt buddy, Jimmy Fallon, because Jimmy Fallon stayed kissing his ass. I don't know. It must taste like chocolate. It must taste like candy. It must taste like something up there. He must got some good booty hole that the amount of lip, the way that Jimmy Fallon's lips be pried to Justin's ass. I'm like, okay, like relax. Y'all be doing too damn much sometime. I get that y'all are cool, but it ain't that damn serious. Like, get up, get your face out his ass. He's not a dog. You don't have to keep sniffing to see what it smell like. But anyway, so with that being said, I be going in. Um, the thing that irritates me is the fact that, you should just left it alone. You should just let Britney take the high road and say whatever. But I guess Justin, being the egomaniacal prick that he is, he had to go and think that he was going to have his moment and he was going to try to be the bad boy or whatever the case was. And he said what he said at the concert because he's mad that he thinks that we live in a time where I'm just going to put out my usual songs that was produced by the same typical producers that I always produce because, you know, I'ma just put out my Timberland produced track or my Pharrell produced track, and everybody just gonna eat it up and they're gonna love it because I'm Justin Timberlake and I don't have to work hard to promote this music. But he gotta realize that we in a whole different time. I told her these kids out here don't see it for Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake has his fan base. He's got his typical fan base that's gonna always sit up in there and support him. At this point, he is what we would call a legacy act. Like he can go and always go out and sell out Madison Square Garden or an arena or that other stuff, and he'll make his money and he'll be good. But at this point, if you really thinking like that music is going to be popping and it's going to get up there on the same level like a Ice Spice released a song about gas, then that's just not where the world is right now. The climate on how music is received has changed so much, and he thinking the music is going to speak for itself. That's just not. Unfortunately, that's just not how the world works, or how this climate works. So the question remains: do I think that he should do the interview? Um, If he wants to do the interview, he should be able to do the interview. However, if you're going to do the interview, you better tell all of it. We're not going to sit up here and try to make it seem like you're going to gaslight Britney and make her seem like she crazy. Like if she brought up the stuff about the abortion, she brought up the faux shiz stuff when you were trying to blackfish and all that other mess. You got to admit to all of that. If they bring up alleged cheating allegations, you're going to have to address that. Not only with Britney, but with Jessica Biel too, who loves to go on social media. Excuse me. And so I stand by my husband. I stand by you. I got you. I'm like, bitch, what else you gonna do? You ain't doing nothing else. Of course, you're gonna stand by the breadwinner. So, and y'all got two kids together. So, what else you gonna do? So, you could do the interview, but if you're gonna tell it, you better tell it all and tell it right. And don't sit up in here and try to make it seem like, oh, well, Brittany was just making stuff up. Everything in that book was a lie. I didn't encourage her to have an abortion. She was never pregnant. Like, if you start doing all that, it's not gonna go well. But I also feel on the flip side, the way I'm looking at it now, let me put myself in the brains of the Britney fans and the Janet fans, because we got to bring Janet up in this too. So, because everybody just trying to bring up Britney and trying to dismiss Janet, because to me, when you said you gonna apologize to absolutely effing nobody, that's all the people that was incorporated in that. So I think Janet's included as well. And I feel like when it comes to her or the both of them, I feel like regardless of what Justin does, I feel like he's not gonna it's a no-win situation. I just feel like people are just gonna be like, well, we don't care. We don't want to hear we gotta say he ain't shit. This all this other mess. So that's why I feel like where I'm at. It's like damn if you do it, damn if you don't. I just feel like at this point, you wanna know something? Put your songs out there, promote it on these talk shows. But knowing him, he probably won't go on a bunch of talk shows. He'll probably just stick with his friend Jimmy Fallon because Jimmy don't really ask people questions in interviews. He just kisses you behind and all that other mess. His interviewing style is unorthodox. So he's not gonna go up there and then go to the people that's really gonna sit up and ask you the questions that need to be asked. Like we ain't gonna see Justin Timberlake on Club Shay Shay. We're not gonna see him do one of those type of interviews. We're not gonna see him on the Breakfast Club. So we're not going to see none of that. So in my opinion, I just feel like if you're going, like I said, if you're going to do the interview, do the interview. And if you're going to tell it, tell all of it. Like you have to really showcase some side of vulnerability. Or if you're scared to go and do it in the interview, I said you should have put the shit in the song. I mean, look, you did Cry Me a River and you made so much money off the back of that. And then when the whole thing with Nipplegate and Janet Jackson, you dick rode that all the way to the bank while she was blacklisted and continues to in so many ways still be blacklisted from the industry, while he got to even go back and perform by himself at the Super Bowl, giving us Duck Dynasty realness on that damn stage. So good luck to you, sir. I just feel like at this point, and it makes it hard to sympathize with Justin, because when you had opportunity to get out of that situation, your inner saboteur manages to bring you back in. When you make comments about, I apologize to absolutely no effing body and all that other stuff, it makes you look like a dick. And it make you look like you was this badass dude. Like he be trying to play in them same spaces as like a Boosie and all these other people. We already know they're a bunch of problematic assholes. But when you try to play in them spaces, it just doesn't bode well for you. So um I even said at one point, you know what? He should just did a damn NSYNC reunion. I don't know why you came out and did the whole solo thing. Because I remember at one point, remember when the book came out with Britney, and he thought, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna let this roll over. I'm not gonna respond to it, but I'm gonna release my album at the first, in the beginning of 2024," which we all knew that was gonna happen. And I said in 2023, I said it don't matter how long of a break you take or how silent you are, whatever the case is. The minute you drop the music, people gonna remind you of the other stuff. They're always gonna bring it up regardless. How many years we've been going by when the Super Bowl come up and you see hashtag justice for Janet. Anytime Justin gets online and says something, they troll him with the Janet and the Britney stuff. So this is gonna be haunting you for the rest of your life. So good luck, like I said, because you just gonna need it. And at this point, I personally don't give a damn about the music. Like the music is always gonna be doing what it does. I don't personally like since I've been seeing more of this stuff about Justin and reporting stuff about him. I'm not really partaking into his music and what he does. But excuse me, I will report the tea. Excuse me. I drink some water. I'm still stuck with this call. Okay, so we do have some comments. Um, so he did that the day after she posted that. Exactly. So it just made you look like a dick. It's like she came out was like, oh, like how she felt bad because of what her fans did and all this other stuff, and you just came and just wanted to act like a complete and utter dick. So it's like she tried to cover and protect you, but of course, you being the white male that you are and that privilege, clouds your damn judgment. You were just like, okay, so I'm gonna just say all this other stuff, and I'm gonna come across a certain way, and now everybody looking at you like, no, that didn't look right. You just look stupid. They said Madonna unfollowed Justin and Timberland. I mean, I would have unfollowed Timberland too because I've heard stories about Timberland being an asshole. He's not the best person that's worth interviewing. Yes, he's an amazing producer and a songwriter, and he is giving us a lot of hits. But I heard he's not the nicest person. He's an asshole. So you know what? Birds of a feather flock together, and that's probably why him and Timberland are really good friends. And Madonna's always been Team Britney. So when she started hearing this tea about Justin, and then Timberland came out and said what he said in regards of when Britney released that book, because he decided, oh, I want to defend my friend Justin. You sit him here defending the white man over. But then should we make this about race? Because then again, they both white, as in Britney and just. Or maybe what it was the fact that Timberland was bitter because he wanted to work with Britney on some music and Britney didn't work with him. So she ended up working with his protege, Danger, who y'all know produced Blackout and a couple of songs that were sprinkled on those post Blackout albums. So that could have been it too, is the fact that Britney didn't want to work with him. And I think she didn't want to work with Timbaland because of Justin. Because it's like Timbaland and Pharrell were like the hottest producers at the time. And of course, you got this heifer wanting to jump on, that bandwagon for cool points. And it's like, yeah, Jimmy likes to play games with people on his show. He never asks serious questions because he said that's not his style. And I guess he feels awkward that he has to do like the typical interview thing. I mean, people should be able to just do their show the way they do it. As long as it's entertaining and fun, I'm here for it. But I just don't. Jimmy just always seems so hyper when he's on that damn camera. It's like, so what's wrong with him? So he always feels like he's always hyper and nervous and all this other stuff. So I particularly am not a fan of his interview style. Okay, so now let's move on to the next topic because we were just talking about Justin. Let's talk about his ex, Brittany. So, Brittany has definitely had a lot of juicy stories to tell. The Oops, I Did It Again singer most recently dropped several bombshells about her life with the release of her memoir, The Woman in Me, and there's more from where that came from. Now, the toxic songstress recalled the hookup as she took to Instagram on Wednesday to share a black and white snap of herself posing alongside the Gone Girl star Ben Affleck and songwriter Diane Warren back in 1999. Saying, cool pic of me and Ben Affleck and Diane Warren years ago, she wrote. He's such an amazing actor. He's also an amazing director, but But then she goes, did I fail to mention I made out with Ben that night? I honestly forgot. Damn, that's ooh, girl. You out here talking about who you've been hunching and making out with. But you want us to look, she got with Colin Farrell. Brittany got some taste. I mean, I would have made out with Colin Farrell too. Quiet as it's kept, and I would have made out with Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck is a good-looking man, and if you pause it just right in Gone Girl, you could see his penis. Just saying. Um, Also, this says Reps for Affleck did not immediately respond to Page Six's request for comment. Now, Spears' brief fling with Affleck, who's 51, may have played out before the Princess of Pop started dating Justin Timberlake that same year. The Give Me More songstress and the NSYNC member, 43, sparked romance rumors in the spring of 1999, despite Spears telling Rolling Stone at the time that she had no feelings at all for Timberlake and was solely focused on her career. However, several news outlets later confirmed their relationship. The two parted ways in 2003 following accusations of infidelity on both sides and an abortion, which Spears detailed in her 2023 memoir, The Woman in Me. Now, the circus hitmaker later found love with Kevin Federline, who she married from 2004 to 2007, and then they welcomed two sons together. Then she went on to wed Sam Asghari in 2022 of June. However, he filed for divorce a little over a year later. And they also said that Affleck was dating Gwyneth Paltrow on and off between 1997 and 2000 at the time of this alleged hookup. So maybe he wasn't with the Goop founder when he got with Britney, and Britney wasn't necessarily in a relationship at the time too, but they had come across. The energy was what it was, and then she was like, "Oh, look at who this cute, tall white man." And you looking at who this pretty young girl with these big perky titties, and then they just got together and just started making out. Sometimes that some shit happens. It's like that energy be so strong, and y'all kind of in each other's eye line, and then things happen. But she said they kissed. She said it in hunch. But I do wonder this because when Brittany was telling that whole thing about it, she really didn't see it for Justin because it's like, was there actual chemistry between them? Because remember, they were in the Mickey Mouse Club together. So did they have chemistry with each other then? Was there ever chemistry between them two, or was this whole Brit? This made me wonder something too. Was Brittany and Justin kind of put together to spark a whole thing? You know how like when they put celebrities together, sometimes to kind of play up a relationship for the sake of the cameras and the teen beats and I can't say blogs because blogs didn't exist in them days. So when you're going to for the gossip mags and all that other stuff, so I kind of makes me wonder, did they kind of cook up putting them together, and then because the whole image of playing it up for for the sake of their careers, because that happens a lot in the industry where it's like, I'll say for an example, like you get an actress who's on the come up, and then there may be an actor who's on the come up as well, or someone who might be slightly more established than the actress, and they put them together to kind of help the cachet. But the word on the curb is the man might be homosexual, but they got to make it seem like he's attainable to the girls. Because so there's a lot of that plays in the industry where they link people up together in a relationship, so that way, it helps get the buzz going. So I wonder if that was what that was between Brittany and Justin, and then them being around each other and playing it up, that they kind of did start to develop feelings because she said she didn't have feelings for him in the beginning. So that kind of makes me wonder sometimes. I guess we'll never know because Brittany didn't bring that up in her book. But um, good luck to you, girl. And my thing is Jennifer Lopez, you can't be mad because you wasn't even with him at the time that Brittany had hooked up with him. And look, I'm sure Ben has hooked up with a lot of girls long before he went and married either Jennifer Garner or Jennifer Lopez. So Brittany's spilling this personal tea about something that went on in her life. That's her story to tell. If she wants to tell it, she should tell it. So good luck to you, girl. And hopefully we spill a little more tea. I don't know if she's ever planning on releasing like a part two to The Woman in Me, but I'd be willing to read it. I did. I told her I read the last memoir and I loved it. So I hope we do get like a sequel, or maybe she'll just go on Instagram and just start spilling more of her tea. All right, so let's move on to our next topic and talk about Taylor Swift. Speaking of stunts and shows and people working behind the scenes to perpetuate certain images. So yeah, let's talk about Taylor Swift. So the word on the street is that her team allegedly went into panic mode after she appeared to snub Celine Dion at the 2024 Grammy Awards. Now, Swift's PR team allegedly went into overdrive after she was accused of snubbing Celine Dion on the Grammy Awards stage. A source shared the Lavender Hazes singers team scrambled to wrangle Dion, who is 55, for a photo opportunity to reverse the damage the 34-year-old caused after fans said she dissed the 16-time Grammy nominee. And this is according to Radar Online. It said as the outlet reported, Swift faced backlash when Dion presented her with the last award of the night. Sunday's moment was supposed to be a memorable for both artists as it marked Swift making history by accepting the Album of the Year award for the fourth time. It also set to be a special moment for Dion because it's her first big appearance since announcing her stiff person syndrome diagnosis in 2022, which forced her to go into hiding and cancel her tour. Now, many assumed Swift would give Dion recognition for her iconic career and comeback moment, but when that didn't happen, an insider claimed Taylor's team immediately went into damage control mode by staging the backstage photos of the duo that have since gone viral. Saying, "I talked to someone backstage. The Taylor camp knew immediately it was a misstep, and they were scrambling backstage to get a photo of Taylor and Celine, which they promptly put out and that was damage control." This is what Puck founder Matthew Baloney said on his podcast, The Town with Matthew Baloney. He and his guest, Bloomberg's Lucas Shaw, then broke down the Swift diss and agreed that she should have given the industry superstar her flowers. The cruel summer singer sparked controversy as she snatched a trophy with Dion without acknowledging or making eye contact with her. Which is exactly what happened. Because a lot of us we pay attention to body language. They said fans lost it as Swift thanked everyone in her orbit as Dion stood awkwardly beside her. Many thought Swift was disrespecting the icon. They said Taylor Swift fully ignoring Celine was like disrespecting even like the disrespect. Even Celine was like, "Yeah." One person wrote to X. I mean, would she say "que"? Because that's Spanish. Celine is French. But anyway, so they said Taylor dragged Lana Del Rey, who just lost the award on stage when she clearly didn't want to go, and they didn't say a word to Celine F. and Dion when she took the award. I hope the next album flops. This is what another angry fan said. And so photos soon circulated of Swift hanging all over Dion backstage after the misstep. While some believe the pictures prove there's no bad blood, well, I did say that on my page because I like to instigate. I was like, "There's no bad blood between these two." No, full well in my mind, I was like, I was giving that side. I was like, "Yeah, okay, bitch. Like I see you for the girl that you are." The mean girl, which is what quite a few people have tried to point out in this industry. But because she gives money to the crew and she does all these little things, y'all like to excuse the behavior. Photos soon circulated, as y'all know, about Swift and Dion, and then it said that others snickered the chummy encounter with just smoke and mirrors to save Swift's backside. And look, there's always been kind of like this aura about Taylor where she always comes across as phony. Or whenever they announce her name at the award show, she's always like Napoleon Dynamite. Like she always shocked that she won a goddamn award. It's like, girl, you've been winning you got like 89 Grammys at this point. Why you always trying to act like you about to win some shit? Like, just get up there, get your award, or whatever the case was. Now, the case when it comes to, Taylor, I mean, with the album of the year and all this other stuff, and I see people making excuses. Oh, but she was caught up in the moment and all this other stuff, and it's like, child, how many times she been up on them stages winning all these awards and is always giving stuff throughout her entire career? Any room that Taylor Swift walks into, it seems like the red carpet be rolled out for her. Y'all bow with her damn big old feet, like she the second coming of Jesus, and that's that. So we're not going to sit up here and try to act like that. Things that Taylor does isn't calculated. That she knows exactly what she's doing, and when she was up there, she should have been in the moment and just been like, you know what? Let's give it up for Celine Dion. This whole because she pays. First of all, we all know Taylor Swift pay attention to pop culture. She seemed that every time somebody gets there and perform, she's singing every goddamn song under the damn sun. So to sit up here and try to act like that Taylor doesn't have her finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry, let's not play dumb. So I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt because when you perpetuate yourself as being like this every day, this girl's girl or this everyday type of vibe where you're trying to act like you're the people's person, the people's superstar, that you're relatable to the people, then it's like, okay, so people are not going to take their foot off your neck when you do stuff like that. So to me, I do feel like she was a little cold. She was more or less happy about that title and getting that Grammy and winning Album of the Year again over the fact that, you know, acknowledging the people that were nominated in that space and acknowledging Celine Dion, especially with all the stuff that Celine has been through in the past year or two. Sidebar. I also want to say like shout out to well, I'm not sure going to shout out certain people. Them people that try to do that whole all lives matter bullshit when it came to Israel and Hamas. That man that got up there, I forgot his name, but he can kiss my ass on that shit. But I do want to congratulate and I want to give props to my girl Annie Lennox, who got up there and during Nothing Compares to You was like, we need a ceasefire. She was pro-Palestine, and then they try to get up there and do the whole damage control, talking about is we here for the people of Israel, and yeah, it's bad what's going on in the country. But I'm like, okay, well, tell to the 20,000 plus Palestinians that's been blown up and killed and starved throughout since October. But y'all want to talk about the little bit of people that was killed over in Israel. Not trying to discount and make it seem like one number is better than the other in regards to who was killed. But the fact of the matter is that y'all trying to discount the Palestinian voices. They're trying to make the Israel people better because whatever kind of business and shit y'all got going on, or how many Jewish people y'all got working behind the scenes and stuff with these shows or whatever. Like, we're not going to do that. So, shout out to my girl, Annie Lennox, who was willing to have the balls to speak up where everybody else was scared. But she always been, pro Palestine, and she's always spoken out against genocide and wanting peace and all the stuff. And when people try to say that musicians shouldn't be political, that's some bullshit because art and music has always been political since the dawn of time, since before I was on this earth. Bob Marley was always out here singing songs about, peace and love and politics and all that stuff. Same thing with, members of the Beatles, John Lennon. Like we can go further back. Um, Oh my God, who else? Well, there's been so many, even Madonna, like there's been so many people who have come out and spoken and used their voice to speak out against the injustices of people in the world. So when people try to act like, oh, y'all didn't stop bringing politics and stuff in the music, I'm like, where the fuck y'all been? Because music, art, that sort of thing, many of people have been using their voices in a way to speak out and speak up for be the voice for the voiceless. That has always been a situation because y'all don't want to hear the damn message. Now you want to try to act like it doesn't happen, it doesn't exist. So I still listen say I ain't never believed all the BS around Taylor Swift. Y'all sit up in there and try to continue to follow that fake and phony broad all you want. I've been seen Taylor for who she is. And I guess at the end of the day, my opinion don't really matter because Taylor gonna do what she gonna do. She gonna make her money. She gonna be wealthy. She's gonna, she's a capitalist more so than Beyonce, in my opinion. Because when they talk about needles and moving needles and stuff, it's like, yeah, she do move the needle. She's moving the needle for the NFL to make all the money that they make, and she's moving the needle for herself for all the money she's making and all the power moves and all the stuff that she's making with the music industry. Taylor Swift is the music industry right now. She is the face of the mainstream music industry. So whenever she drops something that's like all of a sudden everybody got to be scared, nobody can release nothing, nobody can ever have a moment. She's guaranteed to get her 9,000 Grammy nominations for 2024, and then that's the way it's going to be. So now it's just like it's not even about putting out real, authentic art and music and stuff. Now it's just like you just being a damn cash cow. You just releasing shit for the sake of releasing it, and just keeping that machine that this music industry is now afloat. So there's that. But everybody else should have the opportunity to be able to release stuff too, because not everybody is a Taylor Swift fan. So I don't think that everybody should be out here scared of some stuff. Ariana Grande continue to get ready to release that album. Um, Dula Peep, I know you got a new album coming. You better get ready to release that one. I'm looking forward to album number 3. So all of y'all are out here that's supposed to release records within the next couple of days. Y'all better release it. Usher got an album coming out tomorrow. So y'all better get ready and continue to release what y'all really don't be scared of that girl. Okay, so Sailor Mermaid's in the building. Says, "Hi, how you doing?" She's been called out several by several people. Absolutely, and I feel like people really need to continue to release and speak out as they should. And they said that he said I felt the picture was damage control because it was funny. It was like how fast were they able to release that photo? And it's messed up because it's like um Celine Dion is like, I'm gonna just be, I'm just gonna be game, and I'm gonna go along with it because I'm a good sport. So yeah, let me just have Taylor Swift come up on me and put her head on my shoulders, making it seem like, oh, I care about this lady. And it's just like the stunts and shows that y'all be pulling back behind us. I'm like, look, first of all, shout out to Taylor Swift because she got a really good team that's working behind her that's real good and real quick with the damage control. All that money I guess she paying them, they better be on it. Because then she said, because it just reminded me earlier when she was like, when she got up on stage and she won her previous Grammy before the album of the year. I'm just going to let everybody know that my new album's coming out tomorrow. Let me run backstage and post the album cover on social media. Like they be working real quick, even though we know she ain't do it. She had them people do it. She had her team do it. And that we all saw like within seconds, the album cover, the track list, the fact that who she incorporated Florence and the Machine is on the new album. Like she had, she's bringing all these people that in to collaborate with her on the record. So yeah, there's that. So she got a good team behind her. I'll give her that. And we working overtime, child. All right, so let's get speaking of Grammys. Let's get into the latest on what went down with um I don't know if I want to take this risk and play this clip of Kelly Rowland on the red carpet speaking she was at the Bob Marley speaking of Bob Marley, because we were just talking about him. He has a not a document, he has a movie coming out, which is a biopic. And y'all know I feel funny about biopics because I be feeling like that y'all want to highlight certain things, but y'all don't really be going in and letting have and spilling the tea about the biopic. So I'm always a little nervous when I want to see a biopic if I'm gonna get the real deal. It's kind of like why I didn't watch the Griselda movie on Netflix, because a lot of people were sitting there saying that they didn't feel that there were things that was in the Netflix series that was correct about Griselda, and then there were certain things in the docuseries that wasn't correct. Because I was thinking I'm getting Narcos version of Griselda, Griselda. And people was talking about we wasn't getting that. It's the same thing with Bohemian Rhapsody. I always use it as an example. I fucking hated that movie because I felt like we wasn't really getting Freddie Mercury. We was getting this hetero, this what do I call it? Queer washing, which is like y'all try to eliminate all the queerness out of Freddie Mercury because the background performers in that band wanted to make it more about. I'm like, we don't give a fuck about no shade to band members, the guitarist, piano player, all y'all. It's good and all. Y'all can have y'all moments, but y'all wasn't the dominant force of the reason why we got into the group. It's like if we gonna watch a band, I'm watching it because okay, we get everybody else gets to have their say so because they're a part of the unit. But if you're not gonna give us the true tea about Freddie Mercury, I don't want it. And y'all not gonna sit up in here and tell me that man was all up into some coochie, knowing full on well he wasn't, because he ain't get AIDS from a woman. So that kind of pissed me off with that whole movie, how they tried to whitewash that, being queer wash that movie. And then I just heard, if I'm not mistaken, that the guy who did that movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, he wrote the script for the new Michael Jackson movie, which has got me side-eyeing that film. I said, if y'all gonna sit up here and try to water that shit down, now I'm gonna be mad. So now I'm a little skeptical about the new Michael Jackson movie that we got coming out. But nevertheless, get back to this whole thing with Kelly Rowland. So now I'm a little nervous because I don't know if I want to show this clip. So maybe I'll just play it on the safe side and read it. Because when I posted the Wendy Williams trailer on one of my episodes, because it was doing so well with the views, all of a sudden they wanted to flag my video and block. I was like, oh, now because now I was getting numbers and attention, y'all want to play in my face. So now I got to be safe with things. I can't even show y'all clips and stuff. So anyway, on Sunday, the rapper, made headlines for criticizing the Recording Academy while accepting the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. Now, his wife, Beyonce, who's 42, is the most awarded and nominated artist in Grammy history with 32 wins, excuse me, and 88 overall nods. However, she has yet to win the prestigious Album of the Year honor. Saying, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won album of the year. So even by our own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. Most Grammys never won album of the year. That doesn't work. Now, further into his speech, Hov added, "We want y'all to get it right. We love y'all. We love y'all. We want y'all to get it right. At least get it close to right. And obviously, it's subjective because it's music and it's opinion based." Now, when speaking to ET's Kevin Frazier on the red carpet for the premiere of Bob Marley One Love, Rowland had nothing but praise for Jay-Z and agrees that Grammys have to evolve, saying, and I quote, "Sean Carter is one of the greatest men I know. His words ring so loud to me, and I couldn't be more proud of him. I'm just really happy for a lot of things that he said. I think he made a lot of artists feel very seen and very heard in those minutes that he took on stage." And this is what the formerly Destiny's Child member said. She also went on to say, "It's a really big moment when you go to the Grammys as a kid, you're voted for by your peers, and you're not thinking of everything else that's attached to it. That's like the peak of career." Now, as far as her former bandmate is concerned, Rowland says Beyonce is an icon for a good reason. "I feel like she is an icon, and that's for a reason. It's because she starts trends. She is innovative. She thought her thoughts are big and bright, and she just jumps at them and does it. I think that her albums are a reflection of that, and it should really be celebrated in that way." She says, "I'm not saying that that's because she's my sister. I'm saying because the truth. I've seen the blood, sweat, and tears that she puts in these projects, and her thoughts and her heart and her passion and her soul." And one of the things that I've always loved me some Kelly Rowland. Kelly, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful women in music. I love everything she does. I kind of wish she would have still stuck with the whole dance music situation because I felt like that was the one time she was able to stand out for Beyonce when it came to the whole solo situation. When she was about to become my generation's Donna Summer, I was like, "Bitch, you better do it." But then it's kind of like she slid back into the whole R&B thing, and I was like, first of all, they ain't even checking for you with the whole R&B thing. They really been supporting your music that way. When you step out and you do other stuff, I felt like her music was more received versus doing the typical R&B because you're gonna follow. It's like you're falling in line with all them other girls doing the same type of shit. So I didn't like when she kind of backslid and went into the whole R&B thing. I like when artists who are, especially if you black, you're gonna step out and do other genres. So um that is my only gripe with Kelly. But for the most part, I do agree with a lot of what she said. And it's like, you know what? A lot of times at the end of the day, y'all just happy to get in them rooms and when you get the Grammy nomination and even the Grammy win, it's like, okay, so now because your peers are the ones that's voting for you, you're just happy to be in the room and you're just so happy to be able to be acknowledged by the people who are your peers. But then we get in these situations because I'm like, I don't like the fact that people keep trying to devalue the fact that, yeah, in so many ways, I do feel like racism plays a part in why when certain people, it's like you get to a certain plateau, they want to keep you at a certain place because they don't want you to get those prestigious awards. I don't understand how Beyonce been in this game for over 20 years and she has yet to win Album of the Year. But of course, Taylor Swift has been in the business less than Beyonce, but now all of a sudden she's made history as someone who has gotten 4 Album of the Year wins. That doesn't make sense to me, but I understand what it is because these games and the politics and things that everybody likes to play. Also, like remember, Matthew Knowles said in the episode that we did that a lot of it has to do with the label. That Beyonce is someone who's on Columbia Records, makes Columbia Records a lot of money, and how was it that Records pushed for her fellow label mates like Adele and last year Harry Styles? How you pushing for them more so than you are pushing for Beyonce when Beyonce is the biggest name on the biggest name on your roster? So why aren't you pushing for her to win? Or is it also that, you know what, whenever you go and do these shows and you try to get nominated and all this other stuff, you have to do it's political. So you got to do the whole campaign thing, like running for president. You got to go out there, you got to kiss a lot of babies, you got to shake a lot of hands, you got to get in with a lot of people. And maybe what it is that because Beyonce feels that I got Jay-Z in my corner and he's supposed to be this someone person who's very prominent in the hip hop space, they'll push me, they'll do this. It's like, no, sis, you can't just rest on your laurels. A lot of times you got to be able to push as well. Because if you don't root for you, then who will? Don't sit out here and settle. Or at the same time, like I said, I really wish a lot of these black artists, again, it's great to be acknowledged amongst your peers. It's great to be in those mainstream spaces and get in those rooms with the elite, and the fact that they love and respect the art, your artistry, or they respect your talent. Which in a perfect world, that's what we want. But this industry like to play games. A lot of the shit is rooted in racism, and a lot of it has to do with, unfortunately, a lot of people, especially if you're a person of color, you got to work twice as hard to be half as good in order for these people to acknowledge you. So there's a lot of factors that goes on into it. And I feel like at this point, you know what, Beyonce, you've done what you need to do. You don't need to prove nothing to these other people. If these people don't want to give you an album of the year, fuck them. But I really feel like I wish that these Jay-Z's and these Beyonce, these people who are in these powerful positions knew their worth and will put this much energy, just as much energy, into these BET Awards, these Soul Train Awards, all these urban award shows, or what's the other show? The NAACP Image Awards. It'd be nice if y'all put just as much energy in them shows as y'all put into these white shows, these mainstream shows, because y'all just so happy to be in the room and amongst the elite that it's like when it comes to y'all own stuff, we don't want to support it. Which is what a lot of what Monique said, and we about to get to that topic right after this one because Monique said a lot, child. So I'm with you, Kelly. I get what you're saying, but I had to point out all them other factors as well. So good luck to you, sis. I don't know. Does she have new music coming out? And with her being at the Bob Marley premiere, I wonder what was the reason why she was on the red carpet? Was she just there because she was a celebrity who was invited? Is she a part of the movie soundtrack? Is she in the film with like a small role? Like I'm just curious because people. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes, a lot of times when people show up to these awards, I mean these red carpets and stuff for movies, I don't know. It could be for a plethora of different reasons. So I do wonder: does she have a part in the movie, or did she contribute to the soundtrack? Like these are just things I'm curious about. So I may have to look into that. But good luck, Kelly, and all that good stuff. All right, so let's look into some of these comments. Robert says Miley Cyrus, Olivia, and ED look pissed. Like, can you take a break and give us a chance? But this is due to the contract with Universal Music Group. Give her the freedom. They're even pissed. We it's like, y'all can still come out and look, like I said, y'all can still come out and give y'all music and do whatever y'all need to do. But don't let Taylor Swift scare y'all into, whatever it is that y'all feel like she's gonna scare y'all into. There's enough room for everybody in this industry. The fact of the matter is this industry is lazy and only wants to put all their eggs in one person's basket. So if Taylor Swift releases an album, and mind you, 50 other of your faves have released albums, all of a sudden they feel like the whole budget got to go behind Taylor. And I'm like, so nobody else is working? She the only one that y'all guaranteed? Y'all feel like y'all gonna get a guaranteed check out of? Like to me, if I'm the person and I got a multitude of clients, I want to be able to make sure that my multitude of clients is eating as well as I do. Because if y'all eat, I eat. Like it's the greed that, and I think that's the issue that I have with this business is that y'all be so damn greedy with a lot of the way y'all try to run behind stuff, greedy and lazy. We y'all try to put too much behind one person because y'all feel like, oh, I'm guaranteed to get that big check from that one person. But I'm like, but if you work with multitude of people, you get multiple checks. Like, hello. But I guess y'all want to work smarter, not harder. That the term? Like I said, yeah, the guy playing Bob Marley was in the Barbie movie. Was he at the Grammys too? Or he was at some award show I think I saw that was sitting next to one of Bob Marley's kids. Wasn't that one of the guy I think during that scene with Trevor Noah, I think one of the guy that plays him, the guy that plays Bob Marley in the movie was next to was it Ziggy Marley? I think it was. But I know many people know the estate of Michael Jackson aren't going to touch the allegations. They're going to act like, well, I did hear that in this film, in the new film, they're going to bring up the whole molestation thing and the trial and stuff. And I did hear that Miles Teller is up for a role in the film. And they said he may be playing one of Michael Jackson's attorneys. So, um, that is the rumor that I've been hearing in regards of the film. Now, how much they decide to dive into the allegations and the trial and stuff, that is yet to be seen. But or yet to be determined until we watch the movie. But for the most part, I did hear that that was one of the rumors. Okay, so I remember when they were rumors about Kelly playing Donna Summer, and that I feel like that's the movie that we still need. I still want a Donna Summer movie. Look, we about to get Tiana Taylor as Dionne Warwick, so why can't we get a movie of Kelly Rowland as Donna Summer? I mean, I will say this, I did enjoy that documentary that came out with Donna Summer. That's on HBO Max. So I thoroughly enjoyed that, and it was done by her daughter. I think daughter or daughters, but Brooklyn Sedano. I do remember like she came, they did a documentary on her, and it was really good. So I would love to see a movie on Donna Summer. Hopefully, we get it in this lifetime. Okay, so let's move on. It's about the big, big, big topic, which is Monique. So I don't know if y'all saw, but Monique did an interview with Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp getting all the good interviews. He did, the Cat Williams interview, the infamous Cat Williams interview that has gotten over, I believe, 50 million views on YouTube at this point. Then he recently did one with Usher. I don't know how well that did, but he did one with Usher. And then most recently, yesterday, he did the Monique interview. I happened to watch it today. I didn't get to watch it yesterday, but child, that interview was so damn long. It was damn near 3 hours. But Monique dropped a lot of jewels and Monique spilled all the tea. And those are the best interviews when people ain't got shit to lose. It's like, you know what? I'ma still eat, I'ma still do fine, but everybody's getting sprayed. So basically, Monique gave us the tea like Cat Williams gave us the tea. And one of the topics I want to focus on is what she said about Taraji and what Taraji said when she did the whole Color Purple press run, and she was talking about the pay disparities, the behind the scenes shenanigans, all the other stuff that was going on. Where she said that they had to dry themselves to set, how there was issues with the trailers. Monique revealed that when she did that Christmas movie with Will Packer, that the damn trailers blew up. And to provide receipts, she put it on her damn Instagram. So if y'all go over to her Instagram, you will see the trailers all burnt up and stuff. She said, I smell gas. She had complained about it, and then they were doing a typical whatever. And then one day she said, but if one of us was in there, we could have been dead. And this is why I always say, like, a lot of times these sets, y'all gotta stop cutting corners and being lazy. What was it? There's a movie that they're working on now, a superhero movie, Wonder Man. I just heard a crew member was just killed accidentally on that set. We've had a woman who sued for that last horrible freaking Resident Evil movie where she was a stuntwoman for Mila Jovovich, where she ended up getting hit with it was a stunt that went wrong. I think she had to get her arm amputated or whatever the case was, got hit in the face and ended up suing them. And I think they'd settled and she got her money. Then we heard about Helena, the woman who was working on the Rust movie set and got allegedly, well, not even alleged, but it's a fact. She got killed by a prop gun that Alec Baldwin was holding. So there's a lot of crazy stuff that's been going on these movie sets, and where a lot of these producers are trying to cut corners and not trying to take care of their talent. And now it's getting to a point where it's just like movie sets are dangerous. So Monique said that she can empathize with Taraji's complaints about experiencing pay inequality as a Black woman in Hollywood. Now, on Wednesday, the actress and comedian appeared on Club Shay Shay, where she revealed that the two had a discussion about it roughly 10 years ago. In response to Henson's tearful Sirius XM interview on being undervalued as a Black actress, Monique called it painful to watch at the 23:40-minute mark. That's in the episode if y'all want to watch it. However, Taraji and I had a conversation over a decade ago in my trailer when I was doing the Monique show. And she said, you got to keep on getting it until your turn comes. And I said, Taraji, most of us die before our turn comes. We got to ask for it right now. Now, understand that because there was a time I felt the same way because that's what I was told. Sharp asked Monique why she thinks she didn't receive the same public support as Henson and said this. It was the messenger. I should just be grateful I got invited to the party. You're a big fat Black woman. How dare you be the one? And on top of that, you're naming names. She continued, you're saying Oprah's name out loud. You're saying Tyler's name out loud. You're saying Lee's name out loud. You're saying Lionsgate out loud. That's not what we do. We say they when we say the people. We say the people, we say the studio, we say the producers. How dare you actually say our heroes' names? These are our heroes. How could you say their names out loud? Like Cat Williams last month, Monique aired out Black Hollywood during her Club Shay Shay visit, also suggesting that there was tension between Henson and Oprah Winfrey on The Color Purple, which is basically what I said, was that when they was on the cup, remember when during the press junket and stuff, and now Oprah's like, now why am I in it? Because bitch, your name is on the goddamn marquee in regards to the production. You a producer who basically is like the big name. You've asserted yourself in a position where you was going to run around and promote the hell out of this movie because you wanted your little moment. You was trying to make it about you. And I gagged because Monique said that there were roles that she was up for that Oprah wanted, and she took them parts because she had the power and the cachet in Hollywood to get them roles. She was up for the role in The Butler. That role was offered to Monique, but because Oprah wanted that part, Oprah wound up taking it, and Lee couldn't do anything about it because Lee's like, I don't have no money. I don't have no power. These are people who are helping me get this movie made, so I can't go against that. Now, if I go and say that I'm adamant I want Monique, then Oprah could pull some shit where she's like, you know what? Well, now I'm gonna pull my name off this film. This movie is not gonna get made because I want what I want. And this is what a lot of these people in powerful positions do. When they want a certain part, when they want these certain things, they don't care who they got to steamroll over to get it. If you're in a position of power and you have the wherewithal and the influence to make things happen, you're gonna make it happen. Which is why I side-eyed a lot of people when they would sit up in there saying, well, why everybody blaming Oprah? What's going on with the Color Purple? It's the studio. I'm like, but wait a minute. Oprah been making movies for how long? Oprah been in this industry for over 4 decades. She knows what the tea is. She knows how to get shit done in this business. So when things go left, I could run over there and blame the head of Warner Brothers, or I could blame this person. It's either she was being obtuse and doing that shit because she didn't give a damn, or it's the other thing. She don't have as much power as she claims. Same thing I said about Jay-Z with the whole thing about complaining about album of the year and all this stuff with Beyonce. Do you have as much power as you claim? Are you just powerful in name only because they just gave you a position? Or do you really have power and influence and cachet in this business where you can make shit happen? Because why, like I said before, when it comes to hip hop, why is the rap the best rap category? Why is the hip hop anything to do with that still not televised on TV? But y'all need Jay Z and Beyonce to pop up so they can win a little, so he can win his prestigious award, so y'all ratings can go up. And ratings, the ratings went up. So I love the fact that Monique is out here not afraid to say her piece and to speak up and all this other stuff. And it's funny because I just before we started this show, I seen a clip service and I think it was on the Jasmine brand of Vivica Fox talking about something. So remember before was when y'all drags Vivica talking about, well, that's never been my experience. I've never had the experiences that Taraji claimed that she had. Well, Vivica just did an interview. I don't know who she was talking to. I don't remember. All I remember is I saw the clip real quick before I came on here to do the show. And she basically was like, well, when you only have 12 hours to do what needs to be done on stuff on set, sometimes you just gotta push through. You just gotta do what you gotta do to make these things done. So basically, and people was dragging her in the comments talking about, so you just sit up there and you just tolerate whatever it is that they throw at you. Because in so many words, what Vivica said was, I just push through and I just deal with whatever the situation is. I don't speak out of term. I don't ask for certain things. Whatever obstacle comes my way, I just got to push through. I just got to get, which is basically what Monique was talking about. It's like, no, you got to do the ass. You got to get up in there. If you're in a position of power, if you're a producer, if you have all these wherewithals where you're in a position where you can ask for things, you should be up in there and asking for it. Otherwise, closed mouths don't get fed. Things don't get done. But what Vivica basically implied in that same breath of hers, and what she said was like, "Oh, because in so many ways you won't get no work if you speak out of term, if you say certain things, if you ask for things, if you rock the boat." So you worrying about that next check coming in, which I could understand that you weren't about eating and taking care of yourself. But at certain points, you got to make you can't be up in here with some rinky dink on some rinky dink set and your movie looking crazy or your wigs look a mess like Tyler Perry do whenever he make a damn movie, and then things is not what needs to be done. So I love that we have very few people out here who's willing to speak. And another thing about DL Hughley, trash ass, that unfunny motherfucker. The thing that pissed me off with him is the fact that how he decided to drag Monique quickly on social media because she dragged his ass and talked about him. She basically said that she did an interview on his radio show or whatever, and they wanted her to play some sort of game with her husband. And then it's funny how they always try to discount Sydney because they don't like the fact that there's this one man in her life that actually got her back and sits and protects her, because a lot of you motherfuckers out here don't protect y'all black women or protect the people that y'all in relationships with. A lot of y'all sit there and let them flounder out in the woods by themselves or like a dead fish out of water. Y'all just let them flounder and try to gas for air however they could do it. But I love the fact that regardless, even though certain things make people uncomfortable, that Sydney has always had Monique's back. So I appreciate that. But how they said they want her to play a game, and they were like, would you rather? And it was a game of, would Sydney rather have sex with, who they say? I think it said Lee Daniels without a condom and Superhead. Well, they said Superhead without a condom, and they said, I forget who it was, but it was a male with a condom, and then it was Superhead without a condom. But I think it was Lee Daniels or someone or another. And I'm sitting there like, she got offended by that, which I could totally understand. I was like, well, why we got to play that type of game? And well, she said, well, why would you, to the girl or whatever, well, why would you say that to me? Well, we just playing. I'm like, yeah, bitch, play with yourself. Because that's what I would have said. It's like, no, you play that game with yourself and all of some, see how you like it. But you want to sit there and try to discredit my man, like you trying to make it like he gay or whatever the case is. So then she said she called up DL. He goes and answer the phone. Yeah. I was like, first of all, I'd be like, first of all, Ninja, who the fuck you talking to on this phone? That's crazy. You better check that tone. But he had a whole lot to say when he got on social media trying to cuss her out and call her fat. Or I ain't never seen nobody who work out so hard that's still fat or whatever. I said, okay, so now we're being a misogynist and now we're talking about her weight when you a whole fucking unfunny asshole who think you as funny as Bernie Mac. But everybody know the best part of the Kings of Comedy was Bernie Mac. May he rest in peace. Because the rest of you ninjas ain't shit. Cedric, Soup Coolers, and you know Soup Coolers is Steve Harvey, and that ashy asshole with the dry ass beard, DL Hughley. Fuck all of y'all. So shout out to Monique, says I got your back with all of this. And because we gotta protect our black women out here. But anyway, so and also, I love the fact that, remember, Monique recorded a phone conversation back in 2022 about, the whole Rifter situation where they said that, where Perry said that he will publicly apologize to Monique as long as her husband, Sidney, wasn't involved. And she had the recording and said that, and as long as she apologized to him and Winfrey over the blackball allegations. She played Shannon the clip. But she wasn't the only one that she played the clip to, too. She also played that clip because I remember back when T.S. Madison brought her on her show, she played T.S. the clip, too. I remember. And she gave T.S. her flowers. And I'm going to get into the whole T.S. thing in a second because T.S. did respond. And the fact of the matter was, what I found funny was that um, people were getting mad over how Monique referred to T.S. Madison. She said it took a transgender to come up and have my back at the end of the day and really speak up, because she was basically saying that, a lot of people say a whole lot of stuff about T.S. Madison and y'all be dismissing her, but don't no woman I know that speaks up harder for black women than T.S. Madison. But a lot of people don't want to hear from her because T.S. Madison is a black trans woman. So in the eyes of a lot of black people, y'all don't see it for TS as being a woman. Y'all thinking that's just some man in a dress, like she Tyler Perry playing Medea. But it's like, no, that is her life. That is who she is. She is a transgender woman. And we got to stop dismissing queer voices and queer people in these spaces, because if it wasn't for a lot of situations, if it wasn't for a lot of queer people, particularly black queer people, a lot of people in our situation, particularly black people, would not have the space of opportunities we have today. How many times I got to bring about Bayard Rustin and the whole thing with him helping out Martin Luther King with the civil rights, with the March on Washington and stuff? Yes, a black faggot did that. Helped him in a lot of that space. So we're not going to continue to come out here and discount people of color. We're not going to come out here and discount queer people of color in a lot of these spaces. Black people, we need to stand together on all sides, not just one side. I know some of y'all don't want to hear it, but Child, this is a show we tell the truth to shame the devil. It is what it is. I know sometimes I get riled up, but sometimes I just hate the dismissiveness of it. So at the end of the day, I understand people put Oprah on this pedestal, like she the queen of Sheba, whatever. But sorry, I'm glad that we're in a time of accountability right now, and Oprah ain't shit, and Tyler Perry ain't shit, and Tyler Perry didn't made billions of dollars on the blacks of black trauma, and y'all continue to support that foolishness while he do real shady behind the scenes shit to people. Same thing with Oprah is the fact that Oprah, I believe, even though she's a billionaire, she has so much power, money, and influence and stuff in the world. I feel like she has always wanted the career of a Monique. Or the respect of Monique, because Monique brought that up too. She said that there was a situation that happened where I forget where she said she was, but how she was getting all this love and adoration of people from the fans, and they noticed. I don't know if it was she said. I think Sydney said he noticed that Oprah's energy shifted because she was getting jealous that that Monique was getting more attention than she was. And I feel like that has always been the thing. Y'all think it is always about money and all this other stuff. No. Oprah wants the respect of being that actress. She wants to be on the level of a Whoopi Goldberg who has an EGOT. We talked about this the last time. She wants to be on a level of a Monique who is a well-respected actor. But Monique ain't scared to come at people and tell people what need to be said. That's the problem. A lot of y'all just want to be. I'll be so happy I was in the room, master, that you don't want to rock the boat. Monique don't give a fuck. So we need more people out there like that, where it's like, you know what, I don't have anything to lose. This is not going to sit up here and try to treat me where I can't say what needs to be said. I'm gonna talk. So, like I said, it was a lot. It was a lot of a lot of stuff that was talked about. I am team Monique and what she said in regards to like calling out Oprah, because I said Oprah is nothing but a damn phony. But I do want to pull up this tweet. Excuse me. Before we move on to the next topic of T.S. Patterson, because I got to give her flowers. So she said, "I've just got done watching a whole interview with Mo Worldwide and Club Shay Shay, and I'm in tears. As a black transgender woman, I often get skipped, omitted, and just out of left field of the conversation for things I've done in culture and or for moving the needle. And it hurts. It makes me understand how our powerful queer leaders from the past were left off of the civil rights movement contribution conversations." Didn't I just say this? I'm gonna give y'all the education. I'm gonna give y'all the tea. But this right here made I guess she didn't finish it, but she said, "Thank you again, Monique, for putting this on the floor and giving me my flowers. And most of all, thank you for letting me show you how true friendship and friends hold each other up and accountable. I love you, and Lee Daniels." And remember, I don't think I mentioned it before, but Monique and Lee Daniels rekindled their friendship because of T.S. Madison. She was able to get those two in a room together and have a conversation and patch things up because she had the both of them on her show and had a conversation where it was just like, you know what, let's get y'all two together. And Lee apologized, and now they're good. And I believe Lee did put Monique in a movie that he did or whatever. So I'm glad they worked it out. I'm glad they fixed things, and it just goes to show that Lee is a real one for that. And there's not that many of them running around because, like I said, there's so many of these shucking and jobbing ass coons that run around this business happy that they get in a moment, because she shit on all the people I stay shitting on that I told y'all ain't shit. She went in on Kevin Hart, phony ass. She went in on Tiffany Haddish and them two DUIs when Tiffany threw shade at her husband. She said, "Well, if you had my kind of husband, your ass wouldn't have had them two DUIs," which was funny, shady, but truthful. It's like, man, you know what, Tiffany, you and that blonde hair, you need to get yourself a man like Sidney here to keep your ass out of trouble. That, and then also don't forget about them grooming allegations with her and that child, her and that fat fuck, Aries Spears. So there's that. So yes, I do feel like we need to, because as long as I breathe on this planet, one of the things I'm not going to do is continue to allow the erasure of our powerful queer leaders. I will remind you bitches. I just say bitches in general, but I will remind you bitches about our powerful queer leaders and the people who have been movers and the shakers behind the scenes who continue to uplift the community, even though y'all don't want to give them their flowers. The Bayard Rustards, the and the T.S. Madisons and so many others that have come through. So Monique, you keep coming out here, you speaking your truth. Every time she, talks, I'm a listen. I belong to the ministry of Monique. Monique hits. So, shout out to her, and hopefully this is not a moment where I hope she's not still blackballed. It feels like she kind of is, but she has been out here doing some things. It would have been nice to hear like what else she has coming up, but I just think like it would just that interview was going on for so long or whatever that it was what it was. But I would like to hear and find out, okay, Monique, what else you got going on? So I see we got some comments. Felix says Monique said Kevin Hart, Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels are the juggernauts of Black Hollywood, and it's saying like how there are people because Cat Williams alluded to that, where he basically said that there are people who are the gatekeepers, and there are gatekeepers in Hollywood where it's like they get to a certain position because she said that there was some stuff that there was some sort of deal that she and Kevin was supposed to work upon, and then some white man that works with Kevin wound up calling up the studio that she had told Kevin said that he's gonna partner up with us and all this other stuff. And the guy was like, "Oh well, Kevin ain't said nothing about working with these people, whatever." And she called Kevin, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna call you back. We'll talk on Tuesday. I got you." All this other stuff. She ain't hear back from him. So there's a lot of these fake and phonies in Hollywood who sit and they steamroll over some of the other people because they don't want to rock the boat and they don't want to fuck up their bag. And that's great if you want to do that, if that's the type of person you want to be. But hopefully you can look yourself in the mirror every night and continue to be that person that steamrolls over your own people because you just so happy you get to be in the room. You so happy you get to hang out amongst the white people that want you to sit and tap dance for your supper and your check. If that's what you want to continue to do, then be my guest, sir. As long as you can look yourself in the mirror every night and be that coon and buffoon and tap dance for your supper, then go ahead. Tiffany had I ain't never liked yep, it's basically what I said. I was like, I can't stand Tiffany Harris. I ain't never thought that bitch was funny. But let's move on to because we got two more topics to go. And let's talk about Selena's father, Abraham Quintanilla, who is speaking out about the upcoming Oxygen documentary, which is featuring Selena's convicted killer, Yolanda Saldivar. Because Selena was brutally murdered in 95. Next year, doesn't that make 30 years that she hasn't been with us? That's a damn, time flies. But anyway, so Yolanda, who's 63, who fatally shot a 23-year-old singer at a hotel in Corpus Christi, Texas in March 1995, but has long maintained that it was an accident, has shared new insight into the horrific incident which led up to it during the supposed sit-down interview from prison as part of Oxygen's upcoming two-part docuseries called Selena and Yolanda: The Secrets Between Them. The news about the documentary's release has sparked fury from the acclaimed musician's dad, Abraham Quintanilla, who blasted the show for giving Selena's killer a platform while insisting that what she says in it is nothing but lies. Now, speaking of TMZ, Abraham made it clear that he and the rest of Selena's family are not involved or supportive of the project in any way, shape, or form. He told the publication that he wants absolutely nothing to do with Yolanda because everything she says is nothing but lies. He added, "No one's going to believe what she has to say anyway. Everybody knows there's zero truth to anything that comes out of her mouth." Selena, who had become one of the most celebrated Mexican artists of the 20th century before she was shot and killed in 1995, was just 23 years old, and Yolanda's story is one that has captured the nation for nearly 3 decades. By the time they first crossed paths, Selena has had at least. I'm just thinking, Selena wouldn't. If she were alive today, she would be in her 50s, wouldn't she? I'm like, well, damn. But anyway, so it says by the time they first crossed paths, Selena was at the height of her career, having already released a slew of big hits and having just launched her own chain of boutiques to market the flamboyant costumes that had become her trademark when her life tragically came to an end. Selena hired Yolanda, an adoring fan working as an in-home nurse in San Antonio, who soon ingratiated, herself into the singer's inner circle, according to prosecutors at the time. She became a trusted family friend, had a key to the home Selena shared with her husband, Chris Perez, and pushed to establish the hitmaker's fan club, for which she served as president. Yolanda is also promoted to manage two of the star's outlets, one in Corpus Christi and another in San Antonio, which meant she had control over Selena's business checking accounts, while some of Selena's associates started to become suspicious of Yolanda and her intentions. It has been said that the songstress stayed loyal to her even defended her in the face of criticism. Selena's personal fashion designer Martin Gomez previously told the Washington Post Yolanda was very vindictive. She was very possessive of Selena. She gets very angry if you cross her. She would play so many mind games, say people had said things that they hadn't said. But the relationship soured after Yolanda was allegedly caught embezzling 30 grand, which only became to light after fans complained that they had paid membership fees for the fan club and hadn't received their promised merchandise in return. Now, in the days before her death, Selena had reportedly confronted Yolanda and fired her over the phone. But then Yolanda ended up begging Selena to discuss the incident in person and insisted she had bank statements to show her that could prove her innocence. They agreed to meet at a Days Inn hotel, but once inside the room, Yolanda fatally shot Selena with a 38 caliber revolver, which goes to show that this was premeditated. Yolanda knew what the fuck she was doing. Yolanda slithered her way in that girl's life and used her. And my thing was, I just want to know what was it exactly about Yolanda that made Selena go so hard for this woman? Was she that influential and so good in ways of like how she could get up under in Selena's good graces? Like, oh, but no, she's such a nice lady. She would never do something like that. Like, what would it be? Like, I don't think I could be that naive. But then again, Selena was 23. She was in her early 20s. The way we looked at things in our 20s, we ain't gonna look at it today, like if you're in your 30s and 40s. So I don't know. Maybe it was just because Celine's career was such on the up and up, and then Yolanda came across as like, you know what, she was just like a true woman, or she perpetuated one image in front of Selena and was different when Selena wasn't in the room with them other people. So I do agree with the whole Abraham thing. That is like, I'm sure we're just gonna get a bed of lies from this lady that she's just gonna feed us a bunch of bullshit. Because I understand how it took you damn near 30 years to finally tell your side of the story when you had every opportunity to do what needed to be done during the days of the trial. Now, someone did post on my social media when I posted that article about the father, where they said that he grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas, and there's people out there that believe that Abraham had something to do with his daughter's death, and then how um he may have been involved in some sort of way. Now, I don't know if that's true, but if any of y'all who are hardcore Selena fans and y'all know that team, definitely let me know. Is this something that is really that people actually believe in? That part of Texas in Corpus Christi, that they kind of have been looking at Abraham with the side eye, like he's benefited in some sort of way. It's kind of like the conspiracy theory that they said about Aaliyah when her uncle, who owned Blackground Records, and that hosted that was a whole conspiracy theory where they said they set it up where it was like Aaliyah was purposely killed on that damn plane, and how she was scared to get on that small ass plane. That plane wasn't intended for her, first of all, that it was supposed to be for somebody else. I think they said Lenny Kravitz. But um she ended up having to take that smaller plane. She had a fear of small planes, whatever the case was. They gave her like a little sleeping pill so that way she could sleep, off so she wouldn't be stressed out. So there's been conspiracy theories about that too. But I am curious. I'm like, is this really true that people believe that Abraham may have something to do with his daughter's death? I hope that's not the case. I don't know. For some reason, in my spirit, I don't believe it. But if y'all know, I'm sure a lot of y'all who grew up in that area or in that area, y'all know more tea than me. But if y'all heard some shit, let me know. But yeah, I do feel like I'm kind of sick of being in this era of like how we have networks and stuff that are so desperate for ratings because they're trying to compete with these streaming services and stuff. How y'all continue to give killers and murderers platforms and things. It's the same thing with the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing with Netflix, or like the people, like even the son of Griselda complaining about the Sofia Vergara miniseries that popped up on Netflix, how he was unhappy over that. So it was just constantly of highlighting and making people and giving these killers a platform. Yolanda should not be given a platform. Now I will say this, I'm sticking to what I said in the last time when we talked about this, I am genuinely curious to hear what Yolanda has to say or what type of tea she gonna spill. Because I know some people was even alluding to the fact that Yolanda and Selena had a lesbian relationship. I'm like, ain't no way in hell Selena was letting that old square looking bitch eat her box. I do not believe that at all. I do believe that Selena was in love with Chris. Because remember, when we seen the movie and stuff, it was like the father wasn't even approving over the fact of Selena getting with someone who was a member of the band and falling in love and getting married and how they had that whole situation. So I do not believe there was a lesbian type of situation going on between them two. And I'm sure if Yolanda even thinks about trying to imply that in his damn docuseries, that's gonna be a problem. So um unfortunately, this documentary is gonna come out whether we want it or not. And like I said, I will take a gander and see what's the tea with that, and then we'll talk about it as a class on this show. But it's just unfortunate that this whole situation where it's just like, um, so and Yolanda went and fatally shot that girl, where it said the bullet shattered an artery in her collarbone before exiting her chest, and they said she was able to make it to the lobby of the hotel to tell the hotel staff what had happened before she collapsed. And then she was rushed to Corpus Christi Memorial Hospital where she was pronounced dead. And then Yolanda was found guilty of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole. Well, she should have never been guaranteed parole, but I guess they were just trying to be nice and you know, and guarantee her. But I don't think she's gonna get it because, like I said, if she do get out, child, they gonna do to her, but she did to Selena. And they also said my family gathered the evidence and it showed different versions of what was going on. I was scared, I was frightened, I knew her secrets, and I think the people deserve to know the truth. Well, if your family gathered the evidence, then why did it take damn near 30 years for all this shit to come to the light? So I'm not buying this whole thing with, oh, my family found evidence. Now all of a sudden her family is fucking attorneys, and now you're Kalinda Sharma. You got a bunch of Kalinda Sharmas working in the Saldivar household that's finding things that weren't brought to the light initially. If y'all know who Kalinda Sharma is, then I'm sure y'all didn't watch if y'all watched The Good Wife, you know who Kalinda is. I like to reference TV shows and movies when I make my points. But yeah, so Yolanda is full of shit. We'll see what it is that they dug up. And then like I said, we'll talk about it on the show. All right, so we have some comments. And let's see. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, did we see this one already? Oh yeah, we did. I think you brought this one up too. So Yolanda keeps saying Selena had this huge secret. Maybe wonder if she was applying Selena was bisexual. I know, because every time when they say big secret, it's like, what's the secret? Is it gonna be like a Listen secret from RuPaul's Drag Race? We still trying to figure out what the hell that secret is. But I hate when people say, "Oh, I knew all of her secrets." So maybe they're trying to imply that maybe because Yolanda, manipulative ass, knew all of Selena's secrets, then she used that as leverage to continue to be a part of the compound and have her hooves and hooks in the money that didn't belong to you. That was the fans that was contributing money to the campaign or whatever, so that way they can get merch. That wasn't money for you to be stealing. They said her career still would still be going. And yeah, I do believe like to me, and it's funny how because Selena and Aaliyah's careers were similar, where it's like they were on the verge of breaking big, and then the tragedies happened. So it's like y'all going too soon. So I do feel like Selena probably would still be making music. I almost forgot to mention, speaking of Mexicans and Tejano music and that whole vibe, congratulations to Peso Pluma. I forgot to mention he won a Grammy. I like his music, by the way. But anyway, it says it was obvious Yolanda was obsessed with her. So there's probably some crazy lesbian situation that was going on with Yolanda. But I hate that being in the situation, because if that's the case, because there's always a stereotype that floats around about gays being perceived as serial killers, demons, like real, like whenever we see them Hollywood movies. But look, there's always gonna be a bad apple in our situation. We got to call them out too. Not everybody in our community is. Look, I always said all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You see, I did read Caitlin asked earlier, would J-Lo have the career she does now? So, please hold. That's a good question. Because like, would she have the career that Selena has? I mean, would she have the career that she does today? Because look, Selena, even though J Lo did many of movies, Selena was the role that put her on the map. I also think that her being in Selena got her record deal. It got people in. They used it. They could use that as leverage, being like, you know what? I could dance. I'm great on stage and performing. And even though I ain't got the most spectacular voice in the world, that's not the biggest issue. The fact is, she's a great performer, and they could work around that. We'll put all the bells and whistles in there to make J-Lo sound good. But if you work hard enough, you get up on that stage and put that mic to your lips, even though we won't have the back, your actual vocals on. We'll put the backing track on. You just lip sync to it or sing real low, sing in the lower register like you T-bars. And um, you'll have the career that you want to have. And that to me is what all actually helped J-Lo's career get to where it is. So that is a good question. I don't know. Who knows? You probably wouldn't have. Okay, so Felix says I watched the 2020 episode about this lady who poisoned her husband and son, and her other daughter was helping. Oh yeah, I did hear about that story. I didn't see it, but I did hear about that. Selena ran into the lobby and fell over. Did they ever show that in the movie? I haven't seen the movie in so long. I need to watch. Now I want to watch the movie again. I love the movie. One of my favorite scenes in I was just thinking about this earlier. One of my favorites, okay, besides the fact when she talked about I'm eating Susie's chips, one of my favorite scenes in Selena is when they in the car and they're going to Mexico and then they're trying to teach Selena how to speak Spanish and how the father is talking about how exhausting it is when you're not Mexican enough for the Mexican people and you're not American enough for the American people. I just love that monologue that he does. It cracks me up every time. And you have to say, I love me some Edward James almost. He's like one of my favorite actors. I love him in Battlestar Galactica, but I actually liked him in Blade Runner, the original. And he actually had a part in the sequel, but 2049. But for the most part, I just loved. I don't know for some. I just love that scene with him in the car and how they're making fun of her and her brother AB are making fun of them, making fun of him when he's in the car going on his little, typical rant. So I just love that scene. So are we even surprised? This is NBC Universal. They pissed everybody off when they let child killer Casey Child. They been getting me started on that bitch. Um, and it wasn't a horrible accident. Her ass knew what she was doing. The shade of J Lo. I mean, look, it 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 just seems like y'all never are exempt from shading J Lo. J Lo ain't never gonna stop getting shade. We got people shade her in the comments, but I'm here for. This is the equal opportunity show. People want to throw the shade, they can throw the shade. I'm gonna laugh. And then also don't forget, look, AO Edebri just threw a shade of her and had to eat crow on fucking SNL in front of J Lo. Remember that time when Wendy Williams ate crow on the set of the Wendy Williams show when she said that if Kim and Kanye had to stay married, I mean if they stay married for a long period of time, she's to eat crow. And it's funny, like after she ate that crow, not that long after they ended up getting a divorce. She would just held out a little longer. My favorite scene is the shopping mall scene where they're about to kick her out. Oh yeah, uh-huh. And it was like, but then all the people that were in the mall and the people that worked in the back, they knew who Selena was because they were trying to discriminate against her because it was this Mexican girl trying to buy this expensive outfit. And the white people didn't know who she was, but all the Spanish people knew who she was. And I do love that scene too. I like that movie. I do that was a really good to me, that was a well done biopic. Those are the type of biopics I want. It's like you gotta give us everything. Don't just give us the parts where everybody's gonna look good. Okay, so now we do have our final topic, which I want to pull up. But before we do that, hold on. I gotta go to my banner. Let's give it up. I want to give a huge sad condolence or my condolences to Pose and trans activist Cecilia Gentili. But what I want to do is I want to pull up, because as I'm talking about this, I want to pull up the background so that way, in case y'all already know who she was. So yeah, I want to pull up this because I had heard yesterday that she passed away. And so Pose actress Cecilia Gentili, who was a well-known trans activist, died on Tuesday, February 6th. Oh, wait, today's Thursday, right? Yeah, so she died 2 days ago. She was 52. Now, according to People, Gentili's death was announced on Tuesday in a statement shared on her Instagram page saying, "Our beloved Cecilia Gentili passed away this morning and continued watching over us in spirit." The Post says before asking the public for privacy, time, and space to grieve. The LGBTQ plus activist advocacy group GLAD also confirmed Gentili's death in a separate statement, describing her as a pillar in the trans community, saying, "We are devastated to hear about the death of Cecilia Gentili. Cecilia was a pillar in the trans community, a dedicated advocate, a striking actress on the hit TV program Pose, an incredible journalist, and a sex worker. She did direct services through the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Community Center, Callan Lord, and the Aperture, originally the Asian and Pacific Islander Coalition on HIV/AIDS Community Health Center in New York, and later was managing director of policy for GMHC. Several years ago, she founded Trans Equality Consulting and has collaborated with many major organizations on trans and gender non-binary rights. Cecilia was also a founding member of Decrim New York, a coalition working towards discrimination, decarceration, decarceration. Is that a word? Oh, decarceration. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm having a moment. Decarceration. So that's like, dealing with prison and destigmatization of sex work. Because whenever a lot of times there were trans women who were out here who were just trying to make a living and were active sex workers, how a lot of the police would crack down on those women and put them in prison. Because there was a big documentary that was on HBO Max called The Stroll, which gets into that. So if y'all have not seen that, definitely check that out on HBO Max. But anyway, it goes on to say she also led the charge alongside other trans journalists to speak out against the New York Times bias and inaccurate trans coverage. Cecilia just celebrated her 52nd birthday, surrounded by friends, loved ones, and community. In the anthology Surviving Transphobia, Cecilia wrote about growing up under dictatorship in Argentina and being inspired by American movies to be her authentic self. She poured that passion into visibility and acceptance into her life and many others. I say this to trans people, trans women of color, and to trans women of color who are undocumented or sex workers or both. People like me, do what you can to achieve whatever level of empowerment you can get, but also be safe. I'll probably never call myself radical, especially in two countries with such high rates of trans femicide and histories of coups. I'm okay with it. I never want to judge my work by how radical I am, but I do judge it on what I'm doing for my people and for myself. Now, she has a book called Faltas, Letters to Everyone in My Hometown Who Isn't My Rapist. It won the American Library Association's 2023 Stonewall Book Award. Now, her one woman show, Red Ink, was slated to make a comeback at the Public Theater this April. Well, if I would have known that that was coming, I would have definitely gone on and supported because I've always seen Cecilia around about in New York. So hearing about her death, that definitely was that definitely hurt because she's someone who has been very prominent within the LGBTQIA plus community. And it also says Gentili, who was born in Argentina, first came out in 1984 and received asylum in the United States in 2012, according to Playbill. Now, for those who have watched Pose, and I actually loved her character in Pose. She played Miss Orlando, a New York City woman who offers discounted cosmetic surgery. She made her first appearance in season one. Dominic Jackson, who also appeared in Pose, paid tribute to Gentili with a heartfelt post on Instagram featuring a clip of the pair performing together on the show, saying, "An activist, an icon, a trailblazer, a mother, a wife, an actress, and comedian, an amazing sister, and a phenomenal human being." This is what Jackson 48 captioned her post. Now, above the video, Jackson wrote, "Rest in power and accomplishment, beautiful sister." Angelica Ross and Haley Sahar, who also appeared on Pose, honored Gentili on social media as well, saying "Rest in Power, Cecilia." Ross, 43, wrote on her Instagram story atop a clip of the show. Rest well, sister, Sahar, 36, said in her own IG post, "Your talent was so bright, and you are an inspiration." And so, there's that. She was also expected to return to the public theater in New York City, as they said, this April. And so I say, rest in peace, sister, because, you are a prominent force within the community and all that other stuff. So, my heart breaks for the fact that we lost yet another person within our community. So there's that. Okay, so it says, I'm glad that Netflix touched the Beyonce meeting after Beyonce became a superstar. Sidebar. I do want to ask this question. What's going on with the Renaissance movie documentary situation? When are we getting that on a streaming service? Because I just heard yesterday that Taylor Swift's Eras tour is going to Disney Plus. I just heard about that. And I mean, also yesterday it was revealed. I mean, what was it? I got an email stating that oh my god, what's the thing? The Marvels is on Disney Plus. So I finally am gonna get around to watching that. I also heard they just released UK versus the world today, so I gotta catch up on that. It's so much stuff going on. I even saw that there was an article that came out about Wendy Williams and the reasoning behind her docuseries that's supposed to be coming on. I'm gonna watch that, and then I'll get back to y'all with the team. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow, but I didn't have the information, so I'm gonna brush up on that and bring it up on the show. But yeah, I want to know what's going on with the whole Beyonce documentary, because we haven't heard anything about the the Renaissance tour when that's getting a streaming release date. Whereas we already heard, like, y'all already got everything going with Taylor Swift. Like I said, Taylor Swift, they just announced that they're airing her Eras tour on Disney Plus with new footage. Which I'm sure is what we'll get when Beyonce decides to figure out what deal she's gonna make. Because it'll be interesting. Like, okay, are you going with Netflix? Are you, because Taylor's doing Disney? Are you, like, which streaming service are you gonna go with? Are you gonna go with Max? Or are you gonna go with um Netflix? Inquiring minds want to know. Because I didn't see this tour. I know it's still not in the movies. So that's what I want to know. But anyway, so we are wait, hold on. It said Beyonce has Homecoming on that. Yeah, she does have Homecoming on there, but I want to know, is that deal still standing in regards of the upcoming Renaissance thing? Does she still have a deal with Netflix? So inquiring minds want to know. But anyway, so trying to put all this stuff on here. But anyway, so guys, we are at the end of our show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Thanks to all of you who were contributing to the comments and interacting with the show. Like I said, I thank you all for watching and paying attention and having me on in the background while you're doing whatever it is that you're doing at home. If you're working from home, if you're cleaning your house, if you're cooking, whatever the case is, thank you for having me be a part of your situation. And before you all go, do yourselves a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button, so that way you will know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Once again, thank you all for watching. I truly appreciate those of you who tune into the show and subscribe and watch and comment and show your love and support, because it definitely means a lot. And I definitely, like I said a million times, and I'm going to continue to say it, I appreciate it, and I appreciate y'all. Because if it wasn't for y'all, I'd just be here talking to my damn self with no audience. So I love and appreciate all of y'all that actually listen and give a damn enough about what I got to say on this little show called Chris Avalon Unfiltered. So once again, love you all for watching, and until next time, ciao, darlings.